What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. I'm having a breather because I'm knackered. There's a number of videos coming out this week. Essentially I'm just getting on and doing it, and then, you know, when I get a chance to do the editing, I'll just put the next video together and shove it out. So there is going to be a few videos. This is more of an update and to answer a few of the questions that has been bouncing off the board and whatnot. Where is GIXIT? What's going on with GIXIT? Why aren't you doing GIXIT? Where's Steve-O? Right, the last you would have seen of Steve-O and GIXIT is basically when he was down here to give his hand, pulling the whole thing apart to get it ready for final welding, paint, powder coat, all that sort of stuff. That's the last you would have seen of it. Since then, I haven't seen Steve-O at all. He's not been down. Bear in mind we were still in lockdowns and all sorts of gubbins going on. He's had some, I'm not going to go into any detail. If he wants to tell you, he can tell you when he gets here, but he's had some family stuff that he's dealing with. Plus obviously he's got his girls and everything else, which means time is precious and he's just not had the chance to come down. Now that said, GIXIT is still very much going to happen. I've got bits of him all over the shop. Here, look, let me show you. Right, so some of the eagle-eyed amongst you would notice the frame, which is just knocking about on the floor. There's a swing arm and wheel behind it. No, that's my stuff, isn't it? What else we got? Up here, there's like his exhaust system, his tank. There's a load of bits and pieces in that box up there. We've got in the corner, we've got boxes of stuff with moto gadget gubbins and footrest hangers and blood. It's everywhere, absolutely everywhere. I want to get it done, I want to get it finished, and there is still a ton of work to go into it. I do need his help, which means I sort of need him here a bit. Start off with, we're going to be having a crack on the frame and getting all that welded. I don't need him around for that bit, but other bits I do. And this is also the bit in his project. It's going to start costing him, you know, a shekel or two, basically. You know, to have stuff shot blasted and powder coated or painted or whatever, it's all going to cost him some money. So he's busy working away as well as sorting out this other stuff, just so he can pay for it and we can get it done and get it shoved on the bike and everything else. Once I start on it though, I just want to start on it and that's it, nothing else, no other distractions like I have had. So basically the idea is, you know, we'll weld the frame up, give that to Jack down the way there, he can, you know, powder coat it and do whatever, and then it's back on the bench. And once it's on the bench, it's not coming off again until the bloody thing is done. Basically I just want to do the job once, you know, say it's brakes or forks or whatever, you know, strip them, service them, clean them, paint them, put them back together, check it's all good, stick it on the bike, and that's it. I ain't got to touch it again. And literally as bits go on the bike one by one, we'll get it all done, and then he can ride off into the distance and that'll be the bike finished. I'm painfully aware this is a bike channel and I haven't finished one yet, which I do want to do. So it is coming, it is on the back burner a little bit at the minute, but that's more a case of, you know, circumstances rather than design or anything else. But we did have some other stuff going on, which has sort of took me away from all that. So pretty much straight after we pulled all GIXIT apart, Doddy went and gave me Brian. Basically Brian and Chuck is my two prized possessions in here. They're mega. All right, they're not the best. No, they don't look amazing. I mean, you know, respectable and stuff, but they're working machines. So anyway, Doddy gifted me Brian at the point where GIXIT all got pulled apart, and this needed to get sorted because obviously there was stuff in that I need to make for the bikes. And once he came apart, he was all over the place. My whole bench was full of bits off this. I didn't take the knee off, but I took everything else off and sorted it out. So there was absolutely no work going to happen on the bike. Nothing happened on GIXIT at all. So all the bits just stayed around the workshop, exactly where they were put last time. Nothing has happened. But he is all back together again and working well. And he is working very well. I'm so pleased with how that turned out. It's very good, very good. So yeah, it was at the point where I could get back onto GIXIT again, but it's still no Steve-O. He went around. Which is where this little beastie comes in. Now I have had shed loads of comments on this, and people still don't get it. So I'm hoping they will do from this. Asbo is purely and simply a test bed at the minute. He is going to get project built, so, you know, same as GIXIT, and we're going to make him look old school and do some funky stuff, and I've got some brilliant ideas for him, which I'm hoping is going to work. But basically, I need to prove stuff. I need to test stuff out. I need to prove it's going to work, because this is going to be the basis for future bikes that I build. The Bandit is, you know, it's never going to set the world alight. However, you know, it's an inline 4, it's oil cooled, there's loads of them about. You know, parts is easy to come by, they're pretty simple to work on. You know, they're a good candidate for a project bike. However, I don't want it to look like this. I want it to look different. And that's where all the testing and stuff comes in place. So at the minute, I've got a Triumph 955, basically from there forwards is Triumph Daytona 955i. This middle bit is Bandit 600. There's a Honda CBR 600RR rear shock in it, and a Bandit 1200 rear end. The exhaust is aftermarket. But you know, all the rest of it is basically Bandit 6. So it is a bit of a bits bike, and that's where all the testing comes in place. So why am I doing all this? If you look at Doghouse Custom and Craig, he's got a way of working that I really like. He's got basically he takes a stock Enfield, and he's already got his pattern sorted. He already, you know, he knows what he's going to do with it. He's already made half the bits, and you know, chop it here, stick his frame on it in certain places, and blah de blah de blah, and that's the basis for it. And then, you know, he's got his little oil tank thing that he does, which he does on all of them, the dummy oil tank thing, you know, and it works. And that's where it's going to sit, and blah, blah, blah. And he's got a pattern for his seat. Well, it's only half a seat, but he's got a pattern for it. It all works. He knows what he's doing with the front end, you know, as far as the nacelle and the forks and all that sort of stuff. And he knows the bits that he's going to be using, like the exhaust systems and where to get them from and all that. And that's what I want to do with this. In my mind, I've got an image of a bike that I want to build. Really simple looking, like there's not enough on there to actually make it go. And everything is squirreled out the way and hidden, and it's a bare bones, basic looking old school bike. But I want to be able to repeat it in the same way that he can repeat it with the bobbers and stuff. So once I've tested everything and I know the geometry works and I know the suspension is going to give me all the adjustment that I'm going to need, and you know that it tracks right and it turns right and it stops properly, that's the important bit, not how fast it goes, that it stops and that it handles and it's, you know, it's functional and it's safe and it's easy to work on, all that sort of stuff. Once I know I've got the basic frame and setup and all that sort of thing, then I can make a frame jig for it and we can repeat that design for future projects. All right, I want to basically do, like, if you look at any bike which, you know, has got that little dummy oil tank in it and it's Enfield based and it does that with the oil lines and stuff, you instantly think Craig Jones. I do anyway. I know other people have built, you know, bought his frames and built them and stuff, but that's a Craig Jones inspired bike, and that's kind of what I want to do with this basically. You know, I would like people to look at a bike and go, oh yeah, that's based on Quickie's design. That's you know, that's where I want to go with it. I'm not just going to do 600s, I will do 750s, I will do 1200s. I might even get Jamie involved and do a turbo one. I don't know. But the basic layout and design of the bike I want to get set and straight so I know I can repeat it, and I know it'll be safe, and I know it'll be cool looking, and just, you know, I'll know how to make it so I could churn them out a bit quicker. The idea is build a bike, sell it, that funds the next one. That's it. Because I want to be doing this for years to come, basically. I've got all the toys to do it, I think. You know, if I need any more toys, then I'll just get them as and when I need them. But that's the plan. Right, GIXIT is going to get done. He is, but basically I want everything out of the way and done. So I've just got GIXIT. That's all I want. It's all I want on the bench. All I want to be working on, because I could have a proper swing at it and get stuff done. You know, a little side project. I mean, in the time since we started doing that, you know, I've got a lathe and restored that and learned how to use it and made loads of stuff. I've got a mill, which that all got pulled apart, and you know, I've restored it and I've learned how to use it and everything else. I've got Asbo, which was crap. Everything on it was broke, but I wanted a daily, so he got fixed up and he's been used. You know, and now obviously we're doing like the basics for the future bikes and stuff, just so, you know, it's got different suspension and all this, but I can use it as a daily and tweak it as I'm noticing things and all that sort of stuff. Just regular transport whilst I'm working on GIXIT. You know, that can just be a background thing, and I'll give you an update and we'll go for a hoon and you'll see what's what and what your thoughts are and all that sort of stuff. Get all this lot out of the way and done, and all I've got is GIXIT. So I can put him on the bench, get my head down and get it done. You know, we've had all sorts of stuff to deal with. There's obviously been the COVID thing. That put the kibosh on a lot of stuff with travel restrictions and God knows what else. Steve-O was out of work for ages as well. So, you know, the money pot dried up a little bit. Essentially, he's paying for all the bits and pieces that go on the bike, the materials and, you know, the M unit and the clocks and everything else. He's paying for it all. I'm just building it. Or making the stuff that needs to be made, or welding stuff that needs to be welded, you know, like the exhaust and all that sort of stuff. I'm putting time and tooling into it, but he's basically buying the stuff that I need to get the job done, if that makes sense. So, you know, there has just been a hell of a lot going on, and you know, I've also got my own business. I've also got a job that I do as well. And you know, there's family life and all that sort of stuff. It's madness. It is absolutely crazy. He should have been done a year ago, if I'm honest. It's just that all this other stuff has gotten in the way, and we ain't done yet either. The engine that you've probably seen sitting on the end of the bench, Jamie, who you've seen him a couple of times, he's going to give us a hand sorting the engine out, pulling it all apart. I've never done a split the cases engine rebuild, whereas he's done loads. So he really knows a thing or two, and he's going to guide me through it all and blah, blah, blah. But when the engine gets done, all the cases need to be cleaned up and sorted out, and you know, it's all going to get painted up properly and nicely with separate cases, not just spray over the whole thing with a rattle can. In order to do that properly, I need to turn the ship blaster into a vapor blaster. I've already got all the kit down there to do it. I just need to get it done. But again, it's another thing that needs to be done. So that in itself ain't a big project. That's, you know, that will just be one video and that's it. Job sorted. Just in case anybody else wants to have a go. But other than that, really, all the tooling that's needed is now got. It's just a case of, you know, paying for the paint and powder coat, and you know, the little bits and doodads and connectors and grommets and shed ton of wire that we're going to need to wire it up, and a new set of tyres and, you know, bearings, all that. I don't know what we're going to find in the engine, but you know, full-on gasket set, possibly a full-on bearing set as well. You know, we just don't know. He's going to need a regulator rectifier to go in it, and all this stuff costs money. He's paying for it, I ain't, because it's his bike. I'm just putting the work in. So, you know, he's gone dark. He's working away to raise the funds to get all this stuff done. It will get done. I can promise you that, because I'm going to badger the bejesus out of him till it is done. because then I'll get a little bit more space in my workshop and I can have a proper swing at Asbo. That's the plan. Once Asbo is all project built, as in all the testing's been done, it's all been pulled apart, I've done the frame, I've built the bike I want, it's just going to get sold. And then that will fund the next bike and so on and so forth. We'll just keep repeating it. And we will tweak it up a little bit, we will change stuff about, we might do a turbo bike, I don't know. But that's the plan. But I just want one project. I don't want a million of them. It probably sounds like I'm doing the bleeding heart thing. God, listen to the wind. Angry man at the shutter door trying to get in again. It's picked up. We're supposed to have thunderstorms this weekend. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not doing the bleeding heart thing at all. I've got my own little business in here, which is just ticking along. You know, there's the welding job, there's YouTube, there's family, there's this and that. Very busy boy. Very busy boy. And although there've been like a couple of really cool little projects to get involved in, they have sapped up an awful lot of time that should have been spent on bikes. However, they've been worth doing because it's just helped improve the workshop basically. If you go back and look at the very first videos that we did and just have a look around the shop in the videos, don't look anything like this. You know, I didn't have the press, I didn't have the ultrasonic, you know, the shock blaster, the two boys back there, you know, loads of tooling and stuff has all been added, and it's took a lot of time and effort and money to actually get us to this point. But I've now got a very capable little workshop in my book. You know, a combination of the two boys back there ain't that much that I can't make with a little bit of time and practice. And you know, it all takes time. However, now all the big stuff like that is out of the way, I can just concentrate on the bikes, and that's what I'm trying to do. Soon as Asbo is off the ramp, he is not going back on it again until he gets projected. Yeah, until I do a project build on him and I cut it up and do all that sort of stuff. Essentially, I just want GIXIT on the bench. That's it, nothing else, just one project to work on. So, you know, I can start work on it, see it through to its conclusion. You get regular updates every week, and together we can just see the bike getting built and finished. And once it's finished, we're going to roll it out the shutter door. Steve-O's putting all his chunky goodness on it and riding off into the sunset. I'll be following them on this with a GoPro, and we can go and have a giggle. We can go out riding, because we haven't done that in years and years and years. You know, do a track day, do stuff like that, just to have a play basically. And then, you know, once I finish mucking about, Asbo will be on the bench, and that's all I want to be working on. You know, do the frame jig, you know, strip it all down, do the frame jig, build it how I want to build it and everything else, and then we're going to roll him out the shutter doors, and we're going to go and have a play and sell him, and that will fund the next project, and just rinse and repeat. You know, once I've got that stock design and everything else that I can just build on and make little tweaks and all that sort of stuff, I'll be happy, because I should be able to do them quicker, because I'll know what I'm doing, and, you know, just improve them bite by bite basically. You know, make little tweaks here and there, and ultimately make something really, really cool. So anyway, that's kind of it for this one. I'm hoping it explains a lot, and I've answered most of the questions and stuff that have either been punted to me on Messenger or stuck in the comments or anything else like that. If I have missed something, shove it in the comments, and I will obviously answer it, because I'm still going through all the comments and that. The channel has grown to, I think it's like 8,600 subs now. For like 4 months it was 8,400 and something. Took ages to get to the 8,500. And pretty much I think that's where it is. That's where it's going to stay. We're never going to be a big channel. It would be lovely if we were. I don't think we ever will be. I think this is it. It is basically a scrapbook. If it grows, it grows. And if you enjoy watching it, then keep on watching it. But that's kind of where we are. And, you know, I'm happy with that. I get to bounce around in here, doing stuff that I love, working about on bikes, and just goofing about, basically, with my mate, when he gets his chunky goodness back down here. But anyway, that's where we're leaving it. Thank you ever so much for watching. Do hope you're staying well and safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Laters!